Since the 1997 V8 Supercar Championship, there have been many good title fights that have happened since then. You've got, the 1997 Championship, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2010 was a classic, 2015 was pretty good, 2016 was alright, 2017, Ford fans don't talk about 2017, 2018 was a good one, and 2023, the previous one. But there is one year specifically that I want to talk about, probably a very underrated title fight. Don't know why. Maybe because it hasn't happened. It happened quite a while ago. Maybe because of various other reasons. But I want to talk about the 1998 Australian Touring Car Championship. So, who are our protagonists for the 1998 season? You've got two drivers that were in the fight, two Holden drivers, from two completely different teams on how they saw how the championship worked. You've got Holden Racing Team's Craig Lowndes and Perkins Engineering's Russell Ingall. Firstly, Craig Lowndes. He was known as the Kid because he came into the series in 1996 at the age of 21, which was very, very young back then. And he came in swinging. Firstly, got involved in a few accidents, but then after, it was about the Lakeside round, he really got the burners going. And he won the championship in 1996 in his first year. Then he won Sandown, then he won Bathurst. Yep, he did the Triple Crown of Australian Touring Car Racing in his first year. The next year, he went overseas to do the Formula 3 F3000 Championship. The modern day equivalent would be if, say, Brodie Kostecki, after he won last year's championship, raced in the FIA Formula 2 series. Yeah, that was how big it was. Unfortunately, he didn't do that well, so for 1998 he was taking over the seat of Greg Murphy. And Russell Ingall, he was also debuting in 1996. He had already won Bathurst at that point. And he really brought to the championship theory to Perkins Engineering, because before 1996, Perkins Engineering only really had 1 month on the calendar, and that was October. Championship was an afterthought for Larry Perkins. If he won races, who cares? The only ones that mattered was Bathurst. And that was how Larry did for many years, until Russell Ingall came in. In 1996 he got 6th. He got his first race win that year at Calder Park. And then he got his first round win in 1997 where he finished 3rd. He was a tight mathematical chance to winning the title, but unfortunately got involved in an accident at the last round. So that sort of had any sort of title fights fall by the wayside, and unfortunately he would have to try again in 1998. There were a few other people involved as well in the championship. Glenn Seaton was coming in as the defending champion. John Bell was always strong. Mark Skaife was moving to HRT after Gibson sort of run out of money. And there were a few new names in the series. You've got Jason Bright for Stone Brothers, who were coming in for their first time. Gary Rogers had a second car that year for Jason Buckwana. Many more privateers and professional drivers came in, where at most rounds they had a capacity grid, and they had to have some did not qualifiers for the first time in a while. And in the first round of the championship, the first 2 rounds of the championship actually, Craig Lowndes came out swinging. He would win 4 races, get a second and a third to start the first 2 rounds. Russell Ingall would get a bit of a slow start in comparison. He wouldn't do too badly. Well, the first race he didn't do too well. He finished outside the top 10. But he did get some top 10 finishes, but it wasn't what Craig was doing. Round 3 of the championship is where Russell would really get things going. He would get 2 wins and a third at Lakeside Raceway, beating both of the Dick Johnson Racing cars to the round win. And that was probably DJ's last opportunity of getting a race in a round win, last proper one, because he was very quick that weekend. Round 4 would be quite close between them at Phillip Island. Craig Lowndes would get a first and 2 seconds, and Ingall would get a first and 2 thirds. And that's where people thought, these are the 2 people that are going to go for the championship. Mark Skaife was there, but his slow starts kind of held him back. And the Fords were kind of inconsistent. Even Glenn Seaton, who was the defending champion, wasn't really as good as he was the previous year. Round 5 is where things would really turn around for Russell. he would finish behind John Bowe for the round, and that was, coincidentally, this would be Ford's last round winner until Hidden Valley in 1999. Anyway, I digress. Engel would finish second for the round, but Craig Lowndes would retire in race 3, so there was a 40-point swing going towards Russell. And at the halfway mark of the championship, Russell Ingall would be ahead of Craig Lowndes by 4 points. The next 2 rounds would be Craig Lowndes' heaven. 4 wins at Mallala and Perth, including, of course, getting all 3 wins at Perth, because when didn't he do that at HRT? But Russell Ingall wasn't too far away. He got on the podium on every single one of those 6 races, so he was keeping up with CL for the championship. Until Calder Park, Lowndes would get a first and a second, because the last race was cancelled because of weather, so there were only 2 races that round. Russell Ingall fell off the road in one of the races, right at the first corner, so he lost a lot of points to Craig Lowndes, but it was still nice and tight, or tight-ish, going into the new round of the championship at Hidden Valley at Darwin. Craig would get a good start in that first round, getting a win, but for mechanical reasons, he would not start race 2. Neither would Mark Skaife, who finished second because his engine crapped out right at the end of the first race. So the front row was left bare, and Russell Ingall would fight from 12th to 1st in the second race, and he would win race 3 to win the round overall. And also at this round, Craig Lowndes and Russell Ingall were forced into the brand new VT Commodore. Now back then, that new cars didn't have the shiny new car, it's going to be the fastest thing in the fucking world thing. No, they were still unpredictable, unreliable. Maybe they didn't have as much test miles, because back then testing was quite unrestricted. You don't know what you're going to get with these new cars, so having to be forced into them was very unexpected and probably unwanted from the two. For the last round at Oran Park, Craig Lowndes was ahead by 6 points ahead of Russell Ingall, and Craig would start that round strong. He would get a pole position, and Russell Ingall would get 9th in race 1, or qualify 9th in race 1. And Craig would just run away in race 1, and Russell Ingall would finish 6th in race 1. And race 2 was probably where the title was decided, because going into turn 1, they decided to go 4 wide between Ingall, Tony Longhurst, Jason Bright and Mark Skaife. Skaife would accidentally tap Jason Bright going to the wee kink going into turn 1, and Ingall and Longhurst would all end up in the gravel, putting all 3 of those drivers out of the race, is what you think would happen. But there was a red flag. Russell Ingall gets another chance, make up some more positions, not get involved in a 4 wide accident going into turn 1, but unfortunately he would have a clutch failure going off the line, and that would put him down right at the back at the start of race 2. Bear in mind, these are when they had 20-minute sprints, so you don't have the hour to build your way through the field. You've got 20 minutes, and 15 seconds of those 20 minutes you already shitted down the drain trying to get the thing started. He did finish 9th though, but at that point Craig Lowndes had won the second race. The title was basically all over. All Craig had to do was basically finish, and finish is what he did. In fact, he won the third race, so 3 starts, 3 wins. Craig Lowndes gets his second championship out of 2nd starts, and this would be the first of Russell Ingall's 4 second place finishes in the championship, and I'd say this one was the most gut-wrenching because he got so close. The other 3, the championship was basically sewn up by the time he got second. He just sort of passed other people to get second in the championship, but this one he was in the title fight right up until the last round. So that was the 1998 Australian Touring Car season title fight. If you want to see more videos like this, drop a subscribe somewhere. If you want to see the Australian Touring Car Championship in 1998, there is a season review on YouTube somewhere that has all the highlights of the sprint round, and of course Supercars has them on their YouTube channel, but unfortunately they don't have all the races. Come on, Supercars, I know they're in the archives. Just sneak into 10 and pull them out.